The emergence of green algae in a planted aquarium is not a failure. It is just a sign of. The appearance of green algae in a planted aquarium does not mean that you have erred or that the project is lost. They are just a warning that something needs to be rebalanced within the ecosystem. When there is excess light, mismatched nutrients, inefficient circulation, or lack of maintenance, algae take advantage of any gap to multiply. But the positive point is that by understanding these factors, you take control of the situation. By adjusting lighting to the right time and intensity, providing nutrients in a balanced manner, ensuring good water movement, including natural allies such as shrimps and snails, and maintaining a consistent maintenance routine, algae are no longer a problem and become just another detail of the aquarium care process. This set of practices creates a stable environment where plants grow strong, fish live healthier, and the water remains crystal clear. Over time, this routine ceases to be an effort and becomes a habit, bringing visible and lasting results. And now I want to know, which of these strategies will you test first in your aquarium? Or is there some personal trick that already works well with you? Count in the comments.
1. Lighting control. Less light, less algae. Light is essential for aquatic plants, but it is also a direct fuel for the growth of algae. When the lighting is excessive, whether in intensity or exposure time, it favors algae much more than plants. Therefore, the first step to control green algae is to properly adjust the lighting system. The ideal is to keep the light on for a maximum of 8 hours per day, especially in aquariums that are still in the stabilization phase. Exceeding this time or using very powerful lamps can completely unbalance the ecosystem. Another common mistake is to place the aquarium in places where it receives direct sunlight. This accelerates the emergence of algae, often within a few days. In addition to time and intensity, it is important to check the quality of light. Specific lamps for planted aquariums with a spectrum suitable for photosynthesis favor the growth of plants, which compete with algae for nutrients, and help maintain balance. If you are facing an algae outbreak, try reducing the lighting gradually for a few days and observe the response of the aquarium. In many cases, this simple change is already enough to weaken the algae and give advantage to plants.
Nutrients in balance. Less leftovers, more control. Many people associate the emergence of green algae only with light, but the excess of nutrients in the water is equally decisive. Algae take advantage of any leftover organic matter, nitrate and phosphate, as a real feast. When there is excess food, dead leaves, or even fertilizers in unbalanced doses, the environment becomes ideal for the proliferation of these algae. A common mistake is overfeeding fish. Uneaten feed breaks down within minutes and releases unwanted nutrients into the water. In addition, aquatic plants need macro and micronutrients, but the indiscriminate use of liquid fertilizers or capsules can generate an imbalance that algae take advantage of better than the plants themselves. The tip here is to observe the behavior of your aquarium. Is there accumulation of dirt in the substrate? Nitrate and phosphate tests are indicating high levels? If yes, it is time to adjust the fish feed, do regular siphonages, and review the fertilization routine. Another important point is to ensure that the plants are growing healthy. When well-nourished and developed, they compete more efficiently with algae for water resources. In short, less leftovers and more balance favor the plants and hinder the life of algae. Have you adjusted the nutrition of your aquarium? Then it's time to think about water movement.
3. Water circulation. The right flow fights algae. The circulation of water in a planted aquarium goes far beyond keeping fish happy. It has a direct role in combating green algae. A proper flow ensures that nutrients, CO2, and oxygen reach all parts of the tank, benefiting the plants and hindering areas of accumulation that favor algae. Areas with little movement of water, known as dead zones, are often the preferred locations for algae. This is where the debris accumulates, the gas exchange is reduced, and the competition of plants for nutrients decreases. The result? Greenish spots that appear on the glass, stones, or leaves of plants near these points. To avoid this, check that your filter is positioned efficiently and that the flow rate is suitable for the size of the aquarium. In some cases, the use of additional circulation pumps can help to better distribute the flow. The ideal is that the water moves smoothly throughout the aquarium without creating turbulence that harms the most delicate plants. Another sign that circulation is inefficient is the visible accumulation of dirt in corners or on the substrate. A good movement prevents this accumulation and improves the oxygenation of water, contributing to the overall health of the system. With water circulating well, you drastically reduce the environments where algae thrive, but still lacks a powerful ally in this fight, the natural controllers.
4. Biological control. Natural allies against algae. Not every algae fight needs to be done with products or technical adjustments. Nature itself offers valuable allies. Fish, shrimps, and snails that feed directly on green algae and help to keep the aquarium clean in a continuous and natural way. This is biological control, an efficient and sustainable strategy that reinforces the balance of the ecosystem. Among the fish, the otocinclus are champions in this role. Small, peaceful, and active, they spend the day scraping algae from glass and leaves without harming the plants. The ancestress, also known as dwarf cockatoo, is ideal for slightly larger aquariums and helps to control algae on harder surfaces. The shrimps of the species Neocaridina, like the red cherry, are excellent cleaners. They feed on green algae in leaves, mosses, and trunks, as well as consuming food scraps and other organic waste. They are great for smaller aquariums, as long as the inhabitants are compatible. Neritina snails are very efficient in cleaning glasses and substrates. They do not reproduce easily in fresh water, which avoids overpopulation, and are very efficient at eliminating the most persistent algae, such as point greens. The secret here is to keep an adequate number of each species, respecting the capacity of the aquarium. And remember, these animals do not replace basic care, but complement maintenance with efficiency and constancy. Want to know what is the final touch to keep everything in balance?
5. Consistent maintenance, the routine that prevents outbreaks. There is no magic solution to get rid of green algae, but there is something infallible to keep them under control: regular maintenance. When the aquarist adopts a consistent routine of care, algae outbreaks become increasingly rare and easier to resolve when they happen. The basic starts with weekly partial water changes, from 20% to 30% of the total volume. This practice removes excess dissolved nutrients and helps to keep the parameters stable. In addition, it is the ideal time to siphon the substrate, eliminating food scraps, dead leaves, and other debris that feed the algae. Another essential point is the cleaning of the glasses. Even if you use fish or snails that scrape algae, it is important to remove those that accumulate with magnetic sponge or owned cleaners, preventing them from spreading or damaging the aesthetics of the aquarium. Pruning plants is also part of the routine. Healthy, well-cared-for plants grow faster and compete better with algae. When a plant begins to rot, it releases algae-friendly nutrients, so old or damaged leaves should be removed whenever possible. Recording water parameters, such as pH, nitrate, phosphate, and hardness, is often an effective way to anticipate problems. When maintenance becomes a habit, the aquarium responds with more balance and beauty. Now that you know the 5 practical measures to control green algae, how about applying today in your aquarium? The emergence of green algae in a planted aquarium is not a failure. It is just a sign. The appearance of green algae in a planted aquarium does not mean that you have erred or that the project is lost. They are just a warning that something needs to be rebalanced within the ecosystem. When there is excess light, mismatched nutrients, inefficient circulation, or lack of maintenance, algae take advantage of any gap to multiply. But the positive point is that by understanding these factors, you take control of the situation. By adjusting lighting to the right time and intensity, providing nutrients in a balanced manner, ensuring good water movement, including natural allies such as shrimps and snails, and maintaining a consistent maintenance routine, algae are no longer a problem and become just another detail of the aquarium care process. This set of practices creates a stable environment where plants grow strong, fish live healthier, and the water remains crystal clear. Over time, this routine ceases to be an effort and becomes a habit, bringing visible and lasting results. And now I want to know, which of these strategies will you test first in your aquarium? Or is there some personal trick that already works well with you? Count in the comments.